Hey there. Today I wanted to talk about the Chicago Blackhawks and their struggling season to date. This season has not been what they or their fan base has expected. Their offensive scoring has been abysmal, averaging less than 3 goals per game while giving up nearly 3 goals per game. They had a stretch early in this season where once an opponent got up to 3 scores, they weren't going to win the game. They could never come back from that. Not to mention their power play has somehow gotten worse than it was from last year, and a lot of fans will say, well, that's hard to believe because their power play has been bad for a decade. It's not great this year. Somehow it's getting worse. And their penalty kill, even though they had a couple of week stretch where they looked okay, they're back to normal, and it's been rough nearly this entire year. Something I stated in a previous video about things to watch out for this season was the increasing age of Duncan Keith and Brent Seabrook. Seabrook had a stretch earlier in this year where he was a healthy scratch for a string of games. That never used to happen. And now Duncan Keith is hurt, dealing with a groin injury, and he's on the injured reserve. Another thing that they never really dealt with. It's the same guy that took a puck to the face during the playoffs and then came back. If it wasn't, I don't remember if he came back in that game, but he definitely was back for the next game. So these are just things that we can't expect the same quality performance out of both of those guys, and now that we're starting to see that the team's moving away it's not the correct terminology, but they're trying to look for what the future is going to be like without those two fixtures on their defense. Their goaltending has been rough all year round as well. Crawford has had a few bright spots, but he's struggled the last couple of years, and it's showing it again this year. And Lehner, he's been playing better than Crawford, but he has his own issues. He hasn't been effective as he was last year, and anytime the game goes into a shootout, which it has quite a bit this year, he's terrible. And he's even expressed, himself how bad he is at shootouts, and it hasn't improved, and it doesn't look like it will improve. With their power play, something that really affects them is getting their system set up early enough in the power play. Winning the faceoff doesn't always seem to happen, and when it doesn't, they have to go and chase the puck back and try to bring it into the opposition zone, and they're not very good at it. They attempt either on the first attempt to kind of just walk into the zone, or if that doesn't happen, they'll regroup or they'll kick it back to a defenseman and have him try to push the puck into the zone. But something teams have always done to the Hawks when it's their power play is they push them at the blue line. They make sure that they're not going to allow an easy setup, which is always going to kill some additional seconds, because as soon as they see resistance at that line, they're going to toss it back, they're going to skate back around, they're trying to regroup themselves, get another full head of steam, and get into the zone. That hasn't worked. They need to attempt something different. Whether it's, even if there's resistance there, you try to go through them, you try to push the puck off the boards and try to skate to that point and get it, or just the chip and chase. As you go and you get a full head of steam while they're skating backwards, trying to keep their being good defensive position, toss it to the back of the net. Toss it, across the boards, and try to use as much speed as you have going to get to the puck before they do. Because what they're doing right now is not working. With their penalty kill, I know some of it has to do with their struggling goaltending. Even when you're in a perfect setup position, you're still down a man. So you need your goaltender to step up and make some big saves. And when that doesn't happen, it makes your penalty kill obviously that much worse. But when that doesn't happen, there are things that the forwards and defensive players can do to kind of assist in these numbers and help kill a couple of seconds. Their defensive setup has to offer more resistance than just allowing the offense to walk right into their zone and start teeing off on the goaltenders. Push them at the line, possibly cause a turnover, toss the puck on the other end to help kill some seconds. Or if you offer that resistance, you're going to force them to do a chip and chase, which then it turns into a 50-50 puck, and whoever has a better position can go and get it. And these are just different things I think that can help their penalty kill. Now, some of you might not really understand some of the things I've been saying, so I've done my best to create a little diagram here. I'm going to start this off by saying that I'm not an artist, so it's not to scale, but this is just rough estimate of what a defensive side for the penalty kill would look like. So you have your couple of X's here. These are the usual defensemen. These are your forwards for when the Blackhawks are on a penalty kill. Now this is normally where they're set up. You have your defenseman by the goaltender to offer if in case they do try to dump it behind here, or they have an offensive player at this back zone area. they can defend him and not have a clear shot to the goaltender. And you have your forwards here to offer a little bit resistance as soon as the puck gets close enough, usually right in this area. What I'm suggesting is instead of just, let's see if we can get the light a little better. It's kind of better. Instead of just waiting back for them, these forwards can move up, get up near this blue line, and offer some resistance before the offensive players can walk into your zone and set up their system. Your forwards move up, your defensemen can move up to the face-off circles, and you can have better coverage that way if you're trying to force them at the blue line to not let them just walk in, have your guy at the point, one in front of the goaltender, one off to the side, and they could just toss the puck around and try to have an open look to score a goal. Offering, pushing them at this line doesn't allow them to set up, doesn't allow them to set up that quickly, and B, you can cause a turnover here. You cause a turnover, you get the puck, you might have a breakaway if you're going the right way, or you just toss the puck to their end, and you're going to kill an additional 15 to 20 seconds, which in a penalty kill, especially one that has struggled as much as the Blackhawks have in that aspect, could be huge. So anyway, that's what I think. Those are just some of the tips I have for this team to possibly help them out in their continuing push to get back to the playoffs, which they've been absent from the last couple of years. I know you'll be watching as well as myself to try to see if this team will turn around, and hopefully they can put on a good push to move up in the division and make the playoffs. Until next time, I'm Kevin Householder.